Good Shabbos. The world's in turmoil. We see Russia attacking Ukraine, and everyone doesn't know what's happening. Everyone is very concerned. Markets are up and down, and where are things leading? What's that going to do with China and Taiwan, etc., etc.? What lessons are there for us, for the Jewish people? Well, going back to many of the teachings of the Rebbe, there is a lot one can say. The first thing I will actually bring up is that which Omer Kaspi, who is an Israeli basketball player who played in the NBA, he said something fascinating. He said, what this teaches us is how we cannot trust the international community for our security. If you remember in the 1990s, some of you might remember, when the Soviet Union was broken apart, Ukraine had many nuclear weapons. And there was a deal brokered between the United States and Ukraine and Russia to get rid of the nuclear weapons from the Ukraine with the commitment for protection from the West. Well, we see how that has gone by the wayside. So any form of international protections for the Jewish people, for Israel, that is committed in any form of a peace agreement, we know is not worth the paper that it's signed on. We have to always retain our own security in our own hands. And Israel must do whatever it can to secure its people, to secure its country, without any reliance on international commitments. That's number one. But another point that the Rebbe said in 1980, fascinating. 1980, the Rebbe said the following. He says, if you look at Tehillim, there's two chapters in Tehillim, one after the other, that seem to give another angle. And he brings a statement of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai in the Gemara. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says that if you have a problem in your own home, if one of your children is going the wrong way, is much worse than anything happening outside your home, amongst the nations of the world. And the proof of it is the following. In chapter 3 of Tehillim, David HaMelech says that he is running away from Avshalom, his son. And he says, Hashem marabu tzarai. How great are my problems? How great are my tzaras? You don't have to translate tzaras. Everyone knows what it is. Yet, a chapter earlier, chapter 2, David HaMelech begins, why are nations in an uproar and people are muttering in vain? And it's an uproar of nations fighting each other that he's talking about. And then he continues, Yeshev b'shamayim yischak Hashem yilag lamai. The one who sits in heaven will laugh. God will really ridicule them. That when their nations are fighting and it has nothing specifically to do with the Jewish people, Hashem laughs. It's not something that we have to worry about and concern ourselves with, for Hashem is certainly going to watch over us and protect us. When we have a problem in our own home, if we haven't educated properly, if we haven't disciplined properly, if we've allowed our children to do whatever they wanted, as the Gemara says, what happened with Avshalom and King David, just to let him be whatever he wanted. He was privileged. And because of that, he ultimately went against his father David. Whereas if the nations of the world are storming, are fighting even, that's nothing that should worry us, because we have reliance on Hashem, and Hashem for sure will protect us. Then the Rebbe said in that Sikha something fascinating. He said that they're storming about things, Afghanistan, and which of course was Russia going into Afghanistan in 79. And he brings the Gemara that says that goes through a number of things that will happen over a sabbatical, over a 7-year period. And the Gemara says in the 7th year, there'll be wars. And in the end of the 7th year, the year after the 7th year, that's when Mashiach will come. Now, yes, there have been many years that the seventh year have been wars, but there is something in it. In the year 6, the Talmud says there'll be sounds. And I would like to suggest the following. The sounds of the 6th year are what happened in Afghanistan, where America's leaving Afghanistan in such an upheaval, in such a negative way, is certainly one of the reasons, as many experts and pundits are saying, one of the reasons that emboldened Putin to do this attack. So the sounds are from last year, before the 7th year, and what happened in Afghanistan. The wars are what's taking place now, and in the future, in the 8th year, in the year after the 7th year, Mashiach will come. Hopefully that indeed is what happens, but certainly we must know that yes, we should not be worried and concerned, but we certainly do have to do things for our brothers and sisters. We can send them in that who live in Ukraine. We could send them financial support. We should say Tehillim for them. We should think about their well-being. As the Rebbe writes in another letter, that when you could have a body, part of a body be underground where there's no oxygen, and a part of the body be above ground with oxygen, then that supports the part that's even underground, because it's one body. If we are one body, the Jewish people are one body, then those who are not in the war zone protect those who are in the war zone. How are we one body? By caring and by thinking about them. So we should add in our tzedakah and say Tehillim, say chapter 2 in Tehillim, together with chapter 20, which is what we always say, for the safety and security of the many thousands of Jewish people who are living in that area. We are confident that Hashem protects them, and indeed, we should be confident that we're coming to the threshold of the ultimate arrival of Mashiach. Good Shabbos.